This is the Unshadowed Thought Podcast with James Hall. This podcast is dedicated to Michelle Goyevich, Ed White, Caitlin Treacle, and I Chan, and also all the others that have lost their life as a direct result of psychiatric harms. All right, it's day number 8. So, my back pain that had developed, it's all but gone. Last night, I really didn't have much trouble sleeping. I had these little twinges, but generally, like 90% of the time, I couldn't even feel it at all. So, the back pain that onset 3 or 4 days ago, just like the book said, it's resolving. Really interesting phenomena, actually, but I'm certainly glad it's gone. Uh, let's see what changes has there been. They're weird. The roof of my mouth feels like I got punched. Like, it just hurts. It's just like this dull, like really strong, dull ache in the roof of my mouth. And when I swallow, it kind of reduces. And if I swallow often, I can't feel it much. But if I don't swallow, say when I was sleeping last night, or if I'm just sitting there doing nothing and I don't swallow for a while, then it hurts fairly bad. Really odd. I wish I could say I was surprised that something odd happened to me again, but the back pain was odd. A lot of the sensations I'm getting are odd. I see it as a sign of healing, or my body's doing something. I mean, I don't have any problems in my mouth, and I never really have, especially the roof of my mouth. So the fact that something's going on there tells me that the body is acting intelligently and independently to rectify something. I mean, it's certainly my guess. It really, I have no logical reason why that might be popping up. Last night it seemed, I've been cold this whole time. I've been, in the literature it says, you'll either get cold or you run a fever. I've been cold this whole time, so I've been wearing like double layers of clothes and a hat. Last night I started to get a little bit warm, not too much, but today I'm even warmer. So I haven't checked my temperature. I don't know if I'm running a temperature or not, but I started taking my layers off and I'm still fairly warm, which is interesting. I have no idea what's going on, but it's in the literature again that could happen. So that's going on. I woke up. So I've been getting full sleep. I've been sleeping for a full 8 hours, but I've woken up periodically for a few reasons. But I've been able to just get right back to sleep. Insomnia is a frequent thing on the fast, if not standard. Last night I woke up like it was time to wake up in the middle of the night. So I had the distinct sensation that the insomnia is starting to set in. But I did go back to sleep. I did manage to go back to sleep and sleep until like the regular time I wake up in the morning. When I woke up, I felt refreshed. I felt good. However, I got up, got going. I was like, okay, I feel pretty good today. And then I got tired and fatigued within like 10 or 15 minutes of being awake. So it was like, oh, okay, like, this is real. Like, I'm gonna be more tired. It's interesting because when I'm up and doing things, and this is all light activity, I'm up and doing things, like I get fatigued really quickly. However, when I'm laying down, I feel like I'm full of energy. Like I feel good. I feel normal. You know. So it's not like the fatigue is relentless or constant. I think that's very interesting. It's like you have this strength, but if you go to use it, it's not there because the body is, doing its thing, healing itself, and trying to probably preserve the reserves that are left in there. So that's how I'm doing. No other changes. Like my stomach still feels odd. My mouth still got I got the white tongue. and the distaste, the unpleasant taste in my mouth. I'm totally used to it at this point. It doesn't bother me in any way, but that stuff's still going on. So I feel kind of typical this morning. Certainly don't feel worse in any way. My emotion, my attitude is fairly good. I don't really feel down or anything, so that's a positive. I know a lot of people report like a kick up in emotions and feeling really well at some point in the fast. I think around day 10. I'm on day 8. I hope I get that. That would be great, of course. And I think that's it for kind of physiologically, like what's going on, my symptoms of what I'm feeling and whatnot. Ideologically, I haven't thought about too much. This morning I had some thoughts around comfort and thinking, you know, why do people continue to do what's expected of them or what's easiest for them all the time? You know, why do they do that? So many people I know, actually everybody I know, is doing it to some extent. I mean, so few people challenge, you know, what is easy in place of what is hard. And I mean, most examples I know are people I've read about. I really don't know. I don't think of who I know personally that will pick up a challenge that's very difficult and do it just because it's hard. I can think of maybe 1 or 2 people out of the thousands that I've run into in my life. And I think that contributes to a lot of societal dysfunction. You know, if 99.99% of people can do what's expected of them and they can be relied on to do what's easiest for them, it seems like mechanisms of control would be really, really easy to put into place and would be really, really easily abused. So I suppose, thinking about it in this kind of dynamic, really not surprised that the vast majority of all of us are being well controlled by ideological influences, media, politics, and socioeconomic factors like work and money. Just thinking of the great independence that you get from knowing you can go without food and really minimizing your need for resources and money. You know, if you can go without, even for, 30, 60, 90 days, I'm not just talking about food, I'm talking about, like, say if you need virtually no money for that period, you can move and do something else. You can change, if we all did that, we could change the socioeconomic dynamics of the whole country so quickly. We could switch jobs. Say there's a big corporation that was abusive, right? I mean, if people were cohesive, everyone could just do something else and take care of each other, and the corporation would melt away. But instead, corporations and government succeeds based on demand and economic factors like making money. And so they can easily abuse and violently abuse, ethics and people. So in a way, not fasting, not depriving yourself, not being in close community. These things are all these things take effort. They're not easy. Those things end up destroying all the things that we care about the most. In my thoughts, as I'm thinking right now. Some interesting thoughts I had this morning. So again, I'm always thinking about virtue and self-discipline, but a lack of those things and a lack of an effort to pursue those things result in disability. And I'm talking about like social disability, right? Economic disability. People are completely immersed in social and economic disability. People do not have the means to change their socioeconomic situation. College is more and more common. Degrees mean nothing. When I worked at a massive corporation, I have no college. I did not graduate college, just have some college. And I worked with PhDs, I worked with masters from USC, from like super notable institutions. And yeah, I worked right alongside them, just like anybody else, and the place I worked for put this massive emphasis on degrees. And yet, if you applied with an advanced degree from a good school, you got no favoritism. But what I did consistently see is that recruiters and management were consistently choosing their friends, the people they knew or people they could manipulate into positions. Horrifying, absolutely horrifying. But this is what I saw. I have never found, unfortunately, you should be able to work for something of value and then retain that value, right? I have never seen any evidence in the workplace that an academic degree meant anything. Never. It seems to me this grand illusion, and it's no surprise to me now that degrees are handed out like candy, to everybody. I mean, I've personally known people with degrees that I really admired and thought how they learned so much, from that experience, or they have this expertise. But I've never seen that translate into workplace value like we're told, But again, the most value I've seen in people and the most value I've got out of people's opinion and experience all comes from the real world. It all comes from the person, right? That person with that advanced degree that I admired, while they had learned a lot in school, it was their ability to learn and their ability to figure things out and their desire and drive to figure things out and to learn that was really what was spectacular, not the degree or what they had learned at the school, right? So these are all things we kind of misappropriate, in my opinion, and look at with rose-colored glasses. So, anyways, day 8, late morning. Maybe I'll add something later, maybe not. But thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you for day 9.